Ever wondered what really happens behind the scenes of your flight? You board the plane, buckle up, maybe drift off with your earbuds in, while all around you things are happening you'd never expect. From surprise weight checks at the gate to tray tables crawling with bacteria, there's a lot more going on than you think. Here are 10 shocking flight secrets airlines would rather keep quiet. Once you know them, you'll never see flying the same way again. 1. Some airlines weigh passengers before boarding. Yes, it's true. In some countries, airlines have started weighing passengers along with their hand luggage before boarding. This might sound invasive, but it actually serves an important purpose. The total weight of passengers, bags, and cargo affects how fuel is calculated, how the aircraft is balanced, and even how it takes off and lands. Traditionally, airlines use average weight estimates. But with growing concerns about accuracy and fuel efficiency, some carriers, especially smaller regional or island-based airlines, have started weighing people individually to ensure everything is properly calculated. 2. The tray table is dirtier than the toilet seat. Most people assume the airplane bathroom is the dirtiest place on the flight, but in reality the tray table is often worse. Multiple studies, including swab tests done by microbiologists, have found that tray tables harbor significantly more bacteria than the toilet flush button. Why? Because restrooms are cleaned more frequently and with disinfectants, while tray tables are often only given a quick wipe, if at all, between flights. Passengers use them for eating, resting their heads, changing diapers, and even placing used tissues or wrappers. Yet they're rarely disinfected properly. 3. Flight attendants are trained to spot human trafficking. While you might only see flight attendants serving food and drinks, they're also trained to observe much more than meets the eye. Many airlines now provide specific training to help crew members identify potential victims of human trafficking during a flight. This includes recognizing subtle signs such as a passenger being unable to speak for themselves, appearing fearful or overly controlled by another person, avoiding eye contact, or lacking basic travel knowledge. They're also taught to listen for unusual conversations, coded language, or signs of forged documents. If something feels off, they can discreetly notify the captain, who can then contact ground authorities to have law enforcement ready when the plane lands. 4. Thunderstorms can flip planes. It sounds dramatic, but under extreme conditions, it's possible. Thunderstorms can produce powerful wind shear, microbursts, and violent turbulence that have the potential to destabilize an aircraft. These forces are most dangerous during takeoff and landing when the plane is flying low and slow, with less room to recover from sudden shifts in wind direction or speed. In the past, wind shear has been a contributing factor in several aviation incidents, which is why modern aircraft are now equipped with onboard weather radar and wind shear detection systems. Pilots also receive specific training on how to recognize and avoid thunderstorm activity, and air traffic controllers play a key role in rerouting flights around unstable weather. 5. The captain has more authority than law enforcement. Once the aircraft leaves the ground, the captain becomes the highest authority on board. Legally, they hold a status similar to that of a ship's captain at sea, meaning they have full control over the aircraft and everyone in it. They can order a passenger to be restrained, refuse compliance with law enforcement instructions if they believe it jeopardizes safety, and even decide to divert the flight to another airport without needing approval. This authority exists to maintain order, ensure safety, and make quick decisions in high-pressure situations where time is critical. 6. Your food tastes different when you're flying. Ever wonder why airplane food often tastes bland or just a little off? It's not necessarily the airline's fault, it's your body. At cruising altitude, the cabin air is pressurized and extremely dry, often with less than 15% humidity, which is drier than most deserts. This lack of moisture, combined with lower air pressure, numbs your sense of smell and dulls your taste buds. In fact, studies by airline catering companies and food scientists have shown that our ability to taste saltiness and sweetness can drop by up to 30% mid-flight. Because of this, airlines often over-season their meals with extra salt, sugar, and spices just to make the food taste normal. 7. Your phone can interfere with the plane's systems. No, your phone won't bring down the plane, but it can cause small, unintended disruptions. Mobile phones and other electronic devices emit radio signals that can, in rare cases, interfere with sensitive cockpit equipment. This includes systems like navigation tools or radio communications, especially during critical phases of flight such as takeoff and landing. While modern aircraft are well shielded, and the likelihood of serious interference is extremely low, the risk is not zero. In fact, pilots have reported hearing bursts of static in their headsets caused by mobile signals, which can be distracting or even disruptive when communicating with air traffic control. 8. You can be fined for not following crew instructions. Ignoring a flight attendant might seem harmless, but in reality, it can have serious consequences. In many countries, especially the United States and those within the European Union, flight attendants are considered legal authority figures while the plane is in operation. That means failing to comply with their instructions is not just rude, it can be classified as a federal offense. Passengers who refuse to follow safety instructions, argue with crew members, or delay boarding or deplaning procedures may be subject to hefty fines, legal prosecution, or even blacklisting by airlines. 9. Cabin pressure is equivalent to being on a mountain. Even though your plane is flying at an altitude of around 35,000 feet, the cabin isn't pressurized to sea level conditions. Instead, it's typically set to simulate the air pressure found at about 6,000 to 8,000 feet above sea level. That's roughly the same as standing on a mountain, and your body definitely notices. The reduced oxygen levels at this simulated altitude can cause mild symptoms like fatigue, headaches, dizziness, or a feeling of being lightheaded. These effects are more common in older passengers or those with respiratory or heart conditions. Humidity levels are also very low inside the cabin, often below 20%. This dry air leads to faster dehydration, dry skin, and dry eyes, which can add to the feeling of discomfort during a long flight. 10. Planes are struck by lightning all the time. It might sound terrifying, but for airplanes, lightning strikes are surprisingly routine. Most commercial aircraft are struck by lightning about once or twice a year, often without the passengers or crew even noticing. These strikes usually occur during ascent or descent, when the aircraft passes through storm clouds. Fortunately, modern airplanes are specifically designed to handle lightning safely. The outer layer of the airplane is made of metal or special materials that can safely carry electricity. When lightning hits, the electrical charge travels around the outside of the plane and exits through the tail or wings without getting inside or harming anything important. Flying might seem routine, but behind every smooth flight lies a world of hidden rules, unexpected risks, and fascinating details that most passengers never notice. From the science of cabin pressure to the authority your pilot holds mid-air, every part of your journey is more complex than it seems. And the more you know, the smarter and safer you fly. If you found these insights eye-opening and want to discover even more behind-the-scenes aviation secrets, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss anything. We've only just scratched the surface of what really happens when you fly. Until then, stay curious, keep asking questions, and remember, next time you're in the air, there's always more going on than meets the eye. Thanks for watching, and as always, safe travels.